Okay, so for the first tactic video I'm going to put up here, I want to talk about Mutilators. Mutilators have come up for me recently because I'm trying to have a small bodyguard unit for a Terminator armor Chaos Lord for my Iron Warriors. And I don't really like Chaos Terminators that much because, Terminators are just aren't that good anymore for anybody. Unless they have 2 wounds or a decent invul save, which we can't have as Iron Warriors. So, I've decided I'm going to try out Mutilators. In all my research and everything like that, everybody just loves to rag on Mutilators. They're slow and purposeful, they have no ranged abilities, and they're just otherwise slow, and they don't have as many attacks as you think they should. I'm not going to say that, they're fantastic and amazing, and, oh my god, they're going to change my life. I just want to say, give them a chance. They're, for a little bit more, than, a little less, than 2 Terminators, you get 2 wounds, 2 base attacks, which, Terminators already have that, but, if you were going to take Terminators, they weren't going to be running very much anyway. They can't sweeping advance, so you're not really losing that anyway. Shooting, you're going to probably Termicide unit them. And so Mutilators themselves, they're always going to have an extra close combat weapon. And so they're always going to have, they're always going to have 2 close combat weapons. Regardless of what set you're going to use, and they're always going to have that extra attack. So they're always going to have at least 3 attacks. If you charge, they're going to go up to 4. And then if you go and take the Cult of Destruction formation that just came out with Traitor's Hate and Traitor Legions, they're going to be able to double that. And the phrasing in the Cult of Destruction rule makes it so that your Mutilators ignore Unwieldy on their chain fists. The phrasing is they get to make it 2 rounds of attacks after piling in. Where normally, if you're Unwieldy, you pile in last, and so if you're already piling in, you're at your initiative step 4 that they automatically have. So if you say you're going to run Lightning Claws first, and then your Chain Fists with your second round of attacks, you don't pile in twice. You don't attack at initiative 1. You make your both rounds of attacks at the exact same initiative step. So, if you charge, you're going to have 8 attacks pure Mutilator per Mutilator. That's ridiculous for 55 points each. And the Warpsmith tax that everybody loves. If you think about it, a Warpsmith costs what 2 Mutilators stock. I think he's 110. But yeah, so if you take a squad of 3 Mutilators in the Cult of Destruction formation. If you take a squad of 3 Mutilators, put the automatic Warpsmith with them, and then 2 single-man Oblets or 2-man Oblets, the Warpsmith is going to pay for himself in the first round of combat. He's going to add 3 Mutilators worth of attacks for the price of 2. And I think that's pretty cool. He just dishes out an extra 12 attacks for your squad, and he's no slouch in combat either. He's got that power axe, and I think he has technically 5 base attacks because of the Mechadrites. Because I think he has 2 base, a pistol, the axe, and then gets +2 attacks for the Mechadrites. So he's like 4 or 5. 6 on the charge, on top of everything else they have from the Mutilators and your Chaos Lord, or at least the way I'm going to run it. And for a tiny Death Star, I guess, that doesn't really have, all the Death Star components to it. But for what you pay, you get a pretty decent outcome. Like my Chaos Lord that I'm running with them is 150. Mutilators themselves are 160-ish, and another 110 for the Warpsmith. So all in all, it's fairly cheap for that many level of power weapon attacks. It just all kind of works out on its own. I think I used Math Hammer app, and it came out to the 3 Mutilators themselves, even with a horrendous roll that I had. Oh, I didn't use the War Math Hammer app. I used a randomizer app. And I had some really atrocious rolls. But even with that horrible rolling, I still managed to wipe out a squad of 10 tactical marines in one round of combat before the Lord, before I counted the Lord's attacks or the Warpsmith's attacks. Like, that's crazy. And with the 2+ armor save, they have, and they also all have at least, a 5-up invuln. They can stand to weather a round of attack, a round of shooting in the next round when they're just standing still in your opponent's face. So, like I said, I'm not trying to tell you, oh my god, just spam these guys instead of spawn. No. They're good, but they're not godly, and they have multiple options. Like you can deep strike them. I'm planning on using them in a bunker, just deploying them in the bunker and then using the escape hatch upgrade on the bunker to jump them forward 12 inches or 18, I guess, to jump them forward that much movement in turn 1. So that they can actually have a decent chance of catching up to something. And even if my opponent is playing a super fast army, would I run that? And like nobody wants to be touched by Mutilators. So, any fast army that I'm going up against is just going to part the waves, so to speak. They're not going to want Mutilators anywhere near them, and that opens up options for by shooting to take place, and divide and conquer, split their army in half, and just work on one half at a time. At least that's how I think it would work. All right, so I think I'm gonna end this here. I just wanted to get that out there, and anybody who rags on Mutilators, give them a shot with the Cult of Destruction. Just try it a little bit. It's not going to kill you much. All right. So this was Voidraven 5829, and I'll see you guys later.